Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside enjoying one of my daily dog walks. Right? And at first, that's what it was. It was a dog walk, but they've become so much more, right? They're as useful for my own physical, mental, and emotional health as they were intended to be for the dog. And that's the point, is that walking has so many amazing benefits. It doesn't require a lot of time, but it does require some persistence. It does require some consistency, and it becomes a habit. And that's where we start to see the results. So for me, right, 20 minutes, that's the minimum that I'm going to invite time in the forest, along the trails with Indiana bones. But sometimes after work, if I've got a little more time on the weekend, when I've got a little more time, those 20-minute walks turn into, well, 45, maybe 75 minutes. And it's about why I do it. I do it for my own health. So the act of exercise is really important. I know that my mood is affected by the amount of exercise that I get, as much as it is affected by diet or quality of sleep. Not quantity, quality of sleep. So for me, that morning walk is a great way to start the day, right? It's a great way for Indiana Bonus to start his day as well. But beyond that, the choice to not only walk, but where I walk, right? I could be walking up and down the road the way a lot of the other dog owners in our area do. But when I've got access to the forest, when I've got access to familiar trails, to bodies of water, to diversity of other living things, really does add the benefits of our walk, of our choice of where to walk. And I try and take Indiana out before work. So for me, getting outside and doing that exercise within the first hour of waking does amazing things for my metabolism, for my digestion, for resetting my circadian rhythm, or syncing that with the day. So as the seasons go about, days are getting shorter, and access to daylight, to sunlight, really does again affect mood. So choosing when I walk, where I walk, once I get past the why I walk. And then there's the, how I choose to walk. Yeah, sometimes my exercise can be compounded by the choice of how I walk. So rocking or walking with weight is another option, another choice that I often choose to add to my daily walks. I don't do it on all my walks for sure, but I'm trying to be consistent with that. And there are some benefits to walking with weight, aside from the muscle gains and endurance, the cardiovascular benefits as well. But in preparation for those times of year when we do go out hiking, and if you're not in the habit of carrying a weighted pack, then yeah, it could sort of take away from the experience of going camping or hiking. So for me, it's also a bit of training, just for those other aspects of going outside with a family that we still enjoy. And then there are things I can choose to do with what I'm wearing on my feet. I try to wear a hiking shoe or a hiking boot that allows me to fully engage all the aspects of my feet muscles, right? So it's what's known as a barefoot shoe, something that will allow my toe bed to expand, so it's not constricted by the shape or design of what would be considered an athletic walking shoe or hiking boot. So I like the stability, but I like the thin sole, and I like the ability for most of my foot to be engaged. So that is another choice that I make in my walking habit. And then there's interval walking, so I can really start to engage those benefits of cardiovascular work and endurance by doing some interval walking, which is about 3 minutes of a slower pace, and then a commitment to another 3 minutes of increased intensity. So my stride's a little bit longer, it's more quick. I can also use the terrain to engage that part. So I can choose to walk more slowly on flatter terrain, and then when I'm going uphill, challenge that a little bit more, and that changes the health benefits of my daily walk. And so where I walk will be a factor in how I walk. And when I'm on those safe, flat stretches, if I can, I'll try and do a little backward walking. All right, engage entirely different muscle groups. It also engages my brain a little bit differently, without the subconscious ability for my brain to provide scale and perspective and motion. Walking backwards, using both hemispheres, definitely improves cognitive function as well. So just walking, right, has its benefits. It is exercise. It's low impact, easy on my joints, right? It does have some muscle gains, but the act of participating in that exercise in nature has its own benefits, physically, mentally, and emotionally, as opposed to, just putting in the steps on a treadmill or walking down the sidewalk, walking down the street. So doing any exercise in nature adds 20% gains to the overall experience beyond the physical health benefits you would get from a normal exercise regimen inside a facility or with your own equipment. So another reason I choose to walk, but choose to walk outside. And how I walk and when I walk, very active choices. So at the end of the day, time outside is so valuable for so many reasons. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or even some financial gains when you think about your longevity and the aspects that will, if not presently, in the future, reduce the impact on our healthcare system as you look after yourself. So, walking in nature, compounding benefits. Adding a little bit of weighted walking or interval walking or backward walking, right? Doing it, small changes, increasing the benefits of an already powerful exercise regimen. And opportunities for nature connection, opportunities for mindfulness, walking meditations as well, looking after those mental and emotional aspects that are associated with spending time with yourself, by yourself, for yourself. But it all starts by going outside. 20 minutes, a couple times a week. That's a realistic, achievable goal, but it does require some persistence. And that persistence will help you find the consistency. And then once you start having that consistency, you'll notice the change. And then you can be more grateful. You'll be surprised at how quickly that one little change of introducing a new habit will help you add other habits to look after yourself, your diet, your sleep, your finances, your other responsibilities. And it will also help you to think about those things that maybe you should start avoiding. Again, aspects that will affect your diet, your sleep, and your responsibility. So it all starts with going outside and taking a walk. It just goes from there. So, not a terrible habit. So many benefits. Go for a walk. Go outside. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.